Hello everybody, welcome back to another review. Sorry it took so long in between my last video and this video. There's been a lot of stuff going on, been super stressed about things, working a lot, super tired all the time. My feet practically are just pain now. There just really hasn't been a lot of time for me to do stuff. This review might be a little bit different than the other one, since all of the other ones I watched the show and then wrote the notes at the same time, or I rewatched the show the same day I recorded. This one's going to be quite different, as I watched this one like one or two matches at a time over like a week, and then wrote the notes at the time of watching it again. It was my third viewing at the time, but as you guys all know, my memory is garbage, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't even remember the show too much already, and I just watched it like in like 4 days, you know. So it's anyway. So we're reviewing the show that happened on February 15th of 2020, the Shinkiba show, also known as Kagetsu's last Stardom show. I know the last one that said that was supposed to be her last Stardom show, but this one really is her last Stardom show because it's her gauntlet. She never did a gauntlet, so she came back to do one. I don't know if this was intentionally planned beforehand or if this was just a thing that they thought of doing later at a later time. Who knows? Maybe Kagetsu had to come back and do this to get the people that she wanted in her produced show in there. You know, like maybe she had to come back to do this so that Azumi and Saya and like Natsuko could participate in Kagetsu's produced retirement show. Alright, so moving on to the first match, it's the Saya KAMITANI and ITSUKI HOSHINO versus Ryo Onozaki and Hina. So unaffiliated versus Queen's Quest. Now this was Ryo's second to last show as well, since she was retiring literally the next day. Itsuki and KAMITANI seem to be at odds and ends. Itsuki always wants to one-up KAMITANI whenever they're together. In the pre-match promo, she never really lets KAMITANI say that she's going to win or that she's going to be the one taking advantage of things. She always tries to make it seem like she's going to be the one that wins. And I really like that about her. It gives her this kind of like fighting, spunky spirit. And it just really fits her character, in my opinion. So the match starts with Ryo versus Itsuki, and the match is obviously a little one-sided in terms of power. There's no way in hell that Hina is going to be able to pin either KAMITANI or Itsuki, and there's no way I could see Ryo pinning KAMITANI. I could see her maybe pinning Itsuki, but seeing how she's retiring the next day, I seriously doubt it. There's just a really very low chance of Ryo and Hina actually pulling a win here. Itsuki is doing a lot of back roll bumps in this match, I noticed. The kind of bump where you land on your back but then continue rolling on, and kind of do like a back flip roll thing. Itsuki, when doing the corner drop kicks, stops before reaching the corner, and it just looks really weird. Like, she hits him with a drop kick, then gets up and starts running towards the opposite corner, but then stops before hitting it, turns around, and then runs back. It's just something that I've noticed a couple people do usually when they're first starting out with wrestling. And I don't know if it's because hitting the corner kind of like takes the breath away sometimes, or like it's not as fun feeling. So like they kind of stop to save themselves a little bit. But it does look really bad. It almost never looks good unless it's done for like a comedy spot. So I would definitely recommend not doing that in the future. The match ends with Itsuki pinning Ryo in 6 minutes and 12 seconds with the La Magistrale. Something to note is that Itsuki starts crying and thanking Ryo. Again, like Itsuki and Ryo hug, of course, but it's just like Itsuki obviously has some kind of connection with Ryo. Either that or she is just really affected by these sad events, because she just started bawling, and she cries at almost everything so far. One thing I did want to point out was that KAMITANI barely bowed to the crowd, and she only started doing it because Itsuki was doing it. she kind of did one bow and then she like barely bent over for the second one and then just started walking off towards the back. But then she did a full bow all the way to the crowd at the entrance. So I don't know if she just wasn't planning on doing it in the ring, but she was going to go do it at the entrance. But ITSUKI wanted to do it in the ring instead. But then ITSUKI did it at the entrance as well. I don't know. So moving on to the second match, we have Azumi versus Zoe. I believe this is for the high-speed Grand Prix. And I'm just very curious to know what's going to happen with the high-speed tournament now that they canceled all of the shows that have the rest of the matches of them in it, because there's been zero word so far on what they plan on doing. There's been zero like communication between Stardom in any way with the fans on what they plan on doing with this tournament. I even tweeted the English Stardom account directly asking them, is it going to be canceled or postponed? We just want an answer. I mean, I'm sure most of us is going to be a little bit upset if it was canceled, but at least we would know. I mean, as of right now, we have no idea what they're doing with it. And they could very well just be dropping it and then not even mentioning it anymore, which would be stupid. So, moving on back to the actual match. I've noticed that lately Azumi has been doing a lot more peace signs than the QQ hand signed lately. I don't know if that's just her coming out of her shell more, but it just seems like she's been doing the QQ hand sign less and less lately. I did notice that Azumi got a decent amount of streamers, and the match starts off pretty fast as you would expect from a high-speed match. And while watching this, I kind of started like looking at Yurie a little bit. For those of you who don't know, Yurie is the ring announcer, and she's also the ring bell person. And I just wonder if Yurie knows the outcomes of the matches beforehand, because she always gets ready to hit the bell on every single pin. Now, obviously, that could just be her, doing her job, not giving away when the end is actually going to happen. But I don't know, there was just something about her face that looked like she was very intensely paying attention to make sure she hit that bell at the right time. And she would look like that on like almost every single pin. So I'm curious to know if they let her know the outcome or not. There is a small part of the match that is a little bit worrying. Azumi ends up smacking her head on the pole on the corner. The pole that, like the turnbuckle and all of that is connected to. It's like the metal pole. When Zoe does her kind of basement drop kick type thing to Azumi on the apron, Azumi flings back and her head just smacks, like a very solid smack, right into the bar. While watching it the first time, I was super worried, but now knowing in the future like that she didn't get hurt or anything like that, it's fine. But it looked really bad, and it was clear that it was a thing because Daichi freaking flew to her and started like checking on her. Later in the match, Azumi reverses the backcracker in the corner, which was really cool to see. And then Azumi pinned Zoe with the Azumi Sushi in 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And I just want to say I'm very glad that Daichi is Stardom's head ref, because it's clear that he has the experience and know-how to deal with situations. How he was clearly telling Zoe what happened during the match was pretty good. And how he was checking on Azumi after the match, they're just really lucky to have him, because he's there to protect those girls, and you can tell that he is. So moving on to the third match, we have Hana Kimura, Ruka, and LEYLA HIRSCH versus Natsuko Tora, Saki Kashima, and Natsu Sumire. Odo Tai are not happy with their matchup, it seems. You can tell that that they see this as a throwaway match, just a match that they need to have, a filler, essentially. And one thing I want to point out in this pre-match promo is that you can tell that Natsuko isn't fully ready to be like a mouthpiece for the team. And that's very evident in the fact that if you watch this pre-match promo, you'll know that during the pre-match promo, Saya Ida accidentally comes into the room. You don't see her, but she comes in. And that's just something that happens, right? Well, when you watch the pre-match promo, you can see that Natsuko is like one of the first people to like react to it. She looks over and sees it, But then she turns back as if she was going to completely ignore it and go to continue saying what, might have been what their script said. But Sumire jumps in and starts ad-libbing and like yelling at Saya about like, oh, how dare you come in here? You're not welcome here, blah, blah, blah. And then Natsuko turns in and starts joining in. That's just something that Natsuko's going to have to work on. But to be fair, it's not like Kagetsu was ever kind of like that either. Kagetsu always kind of took a laissez-faire approach to her team, letting her teammates shine more than her, where Kagetsu just went for the ride, like went along for the ride. One thing I do want to talk about is I'm very curious what's wrong with Ruka, because she comes back a lot for like one match and then disappears. And they said that she's gone in the next show, like the next day, that she's not going to be appearing because of poor health. Now, this is just like, it happens way too much with her. And when she is in the ring, it's like she's not really, I don't want to say she's not trying, but like she's not getting it. And I just want to say I would not be surprised if she announced, or that they announced that she was going to retire or like quit wrestling here soon. It just doesn't seem like something that she's fully into. And she might just be having a bunch of problems with injuries. Who knows? I love Odotai's theme. It's just really good. I know I've said that a lot, but it's just true. It's so fresh. I just really love their theme because it just has a darker feeling to it, and it feels different, like a kind of a reboot, with the whole pause of the music and then like the beep, and then it goes into something, something different. It just feels like it's like, hey, this is the thing, not anymore, we're something new. And it's just a really cool touch. It's pretty obvious who's winning here. Odotai has been on a winning streak lately, and TCS side has Ruka. And usually the side with one of the rookies or underage girls tends to lose. This is clearly a filler match, as there aren't really any connections to any storylines right now. Saki and Hana, Natsuko and Arisa, Leyla in the high-speed tournament, Sumire and Riho, Hana and Ruka really aren't in anything right now, those two. I guess you could put Hana and Saki kind of have a thing where Hana looked down on Saki, but they seem to have dropped that almost completely, so I don't really feel confident in even saying that's a thing anymore. I do want to point out that there were two parts that kind of made me eh. There was a part where Saki barely pulled off her butterfly suplex on Ruka. Now, I can kind of understand that, since Ruka seems to be one of the bigger people of the promotion, and Saki is like the smallest. But then Ruka barely pulls off her fisherman suplex on Saki. Now, if you can't pick up Saki, there's something wrong. Like, I don't know, maybe she was already injured at that point. She did seem kind of like sluggish and slow towards the end. Ruka just really hasn't improved too much. All of her peers have greatly like passed her already, and it just seems like she's kind of stuck in a rut. I hope whatever's causing it is over, because in the beginning she seemed like she had a lot of potential. Like she could be a really good like power wrestler, like a big wrestler, So the match ends with Saki pinning Ruka in 8 minutes and 30 seconds with My Emblem. Moving on to the fourth match, we have Tam Nakano, Riho, and Saya Ida versus Julia, Shuri, and Maika. I just want to say I love how weird Julia is. I know I've brought this up before, but I just want to say it again. I just really like how she's weird. I feel like she's the type of person that, will just be sitting with her friends or coworkers or whatever, and she'll just say something, and everyone just kind of slowly looks at her with those like, what? The faces, like the WTF faces. She refers to stars as a gorilla, a panda, and a squirrel. Obviously, Saya's the gorilla and Tam is the panda. So that just leaves Riho as a squirrel. Now, I don't know if there's some kind of Twitter conversation I don't know about that would explain this, but her calling Riho a squirrel is hilarious. Because I never noticed before, but guys, she kind of looks like a squirrel. Next here I have Shitty's voice just doesn't match her in any way. It's way too high pitched and like cute sounding, almost like anime girl sounding. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it, but like you look at Shuri, and then you hear that voice, and you're like, nope, no, that's not where that comes from, you know. Tam refers to Donna Del Mondo as Donna Del Monte, and then Rio calls them al dente. Now, this is hilarious because she essentially just, I don't know if accidentally, just called them like a half-cooked noodle, which is pretty hilarious. So the match starts with Julia and Riho in the beginning. Then Maika and Saya pretty soon after that. Saya won the shoulder tackle competition between the two of them, which caught me by surprise because I did not think they were going to have her outpower Maika. But then Maika was able to go on to manhandle Saya very easily. Maika's judo throws are definitely the most vicious ones, like, in the promotion so far. I know she's not signed there, but it looks like she's going to be a regular like Samira is. And her judo throws are very vicious. Now, this could just be because she has a lot more experience in judo throw than everyone else. I don't know how long Utami has been doing judo, but I know Maika, I believe it said something like 13 years or 15 years or something like that. Let's see here. I love how Saya has implemented chops into her style. Like, she's now the promotion's like chop person. Before her, it was actually Kairi. She had that whole chop bit where she would do it very fast in quick succession. And now Saya is kind of that person, and I think it really fits her style because, I mean, that's where she reaches naturally. So, on most people, because of how short she is. I can't wait to see Julia's new outfit. For those of you who don't know, Julia teased designing a new outfit on Twitter, and there has been zero word of it since. And it wasn't just her going like, hey, new outfit soon. She was actually showing like papers of like material types and colors and then like fabrics next to it and stuff like that. Like, she was literally in the middle of the process of designing the new outfit. And I was really looking forward to it, and I thought it could be only like a couple more matches before we see it. But now that all of the matches are deleted, or not deleted, canceled, I guess I should say, there's a good chance that the Karakin show that they're going to have, with the one with no fans, could be the debut of her new outfit. And a lot of people are suspecting that a lot of people could actually be debuting a new outfit in that show. And I feel like that would probably be a good one because it's kind of a special show with the no fans. It's going to be live broadcasts, things like that. Tam also has a huge, like, nasty looking dark bruise on her leg. These girls are always bruised up. It's crazy. Julia's big boot to Tam looked just freaking amazing. The impact looked very solid. It looked like she was legit kicking her in the face, and Tam's bump made it look even cooler. But then shortly after, Tam does a spinning, I think heel kick. I don't know the proper words for it, but she does a spinning kick to Julia's head, and that looks freaking awesome. Like, the same thing. Like, the impact looks good. The bump from Julia and the cell looked really good. It's just these two have really good chemistry, and at this point, is it fair to say that these two have good chemistry and not just say that Tam is involved so it's awesome? Because like every single thing Tam does is amazing. It doesn't matter who she's working with, she pulls it out in the end. Like that's just a common denominator, you know what I mean? I also want to say that Shuri is just really awesome. There is this intensity and smoothness to her viciousness that gives her a very unique feel to her. It's like she's a killer and she knows it. It's a lot like or I should say, it has a very similar feeling to Konami, and that Konami is also this smooth killer that she knows she can do these things very well, and she is not worried about it. And Shuri has the same feeling with it, except Shuri has a lot more experience. So the match ends with Shuri tapping Saya in 11 minutes and 38 seconds with an arm bar. Moving on to the next match, we have Momo Watanabe and Utami HAYASHISHITA versus Jamie Hayter and the Judas B. Priestley. I love how Momo started to laugh a bit during the pre-match promo when Utami was mentioning Queen's Quest downfall, basically. She was like, we're having a hard time here, you know, we lost our belts, and then she goes, and the way she said it was hilarious. She's like, and B kicked or like kneed Momo in the face, and the way she says it with like the short pause and the way she kind of like motions towards Momo's face, it was hilarious, and you could tell Momo thought it was funny too, because Momo actually started laughing a little bit. Also, Jamie has a huge bruise on her arm as well. Like, seriously, what are these girls up to during their free time? Because they are bruised as hell before the match even starts. Momo and Utami attack preemptively before the bell, which makes a lot of sense. Momo and Utami have a lot of animosity. I believe I said that word wrong, but they really, really hate B because of her betrayal. And Momo is particularly pissed, as she seems to be hitting her very stiff here. Every single one of her hits has the typical Momo stiffness, but then add like maybe about 4 or 5% more stiffness than usual to that. Or maybe like 10, 20, whatever. I don't know. Math. B is able to get the advantage back pretty quickly, unfortunately. And she and Jamie just start teaming together and beating the crap out of Momo. Momo seems to be the designated, you know, get hurt person for Queen's Quest lately. I don't know a proper term for that. The pain fodder, maybe. Anyway, she seems to be the pain fodder. That's what I'm going to use from now on. TM, copyright, whatever you want to do. Pain fodder. The person who gets beat up a lot in like the first half of the match before they're able to get the hot tag. Pain fodder. Now, Momo seems to be the pain fodder for Queen's Quest quite often lately, and I don't know why that is. It might just be because she is the more she's better at bumping and selling than Utami is. She's obviously not as good as Azumi, because whenever Azumi's in the match, she's the pain fodder. But I believe out of those two, Momo and Utami, Momo just has a lot more experience in that aspect, and they probably want her to do it instead of Utami. Although you would think they would want Utami in there more often to learn that stuff, but who knows? You know, like, I'm not a part of the business. I don't know how it works. So maybe they just want someone who they know can do it. One thing I want to note is looking at Jamie's head, like her hair, really makes me think of the movie Pumpkinhead. Do you guys remember Pumpkinhead? That movie about the satanic demon that you summon to go kill people, and as it's killing people, like you feel that, like you feel the people he's killing's like pain. I don't want to say anymore. That's probably going to be a spoiler. I know it's probably like a 30 or 40-year-old movie at this point. It's a good movie, and you should probably watch it. I mean, by good, it's really bad. It's a bad B horror movie, which means it's good. Don't ever take movie recommendations from me, is what I'm trying to say. I just got done watching a movie called Six-Headed Shark Attack or something like that, and it was phenomenal, guys. I loved every second of it. It was a great movie, which means it was really bad. So moving on, I noticed Momo was in a ponytail, and that looks super cute. Momo in a ponytail looks incredibly cute, but it's kind of hard for her not to look cute. So I do want to note that towards the end of the match, I finally noticed that Utami also had a ponytail I did not notice, and that she also looked cute. Queen's Quest have really gone out of their way to make themselves a lot more, I don't want to say aesthetically pleasing, because that sounds weird, but basically aesthetically pleasing. Like, you know, they're started doing their hair, they're putting on a little bit more makeup. I think they're just trying to get more people to like them, which is odd, because if the rumors are true that with Bushiroad's new contracts, they wouldn't have to rely on merchandise anymore. You would think they would have wanted to do all this stuff back in the system where they had to rely on merch, and not on the new system where they don't rely on merch. Which, I don't know. That just seems odd to me, but it seems like a huge coincidence that all three of those girls just all of a sudden decided to play, you know, princess makeup, dress up. What's that expression in movies? Makeover. I'm smart, guys. When Bushiroad took over, it just seems odd that both happened at the same time. I'm not implying any kind of sinister things. I'm just saying it just seems weird that all of a sudden all three of them are more interested in looking quote unquote prettier when Bushiroad took over. Another thing I want to point out is that Utami's judo throw on Jamie into B in the corner looked like it hit B's leg weird. It looked like Jamie really landed on B's leg and B was in the standing position, so she was just crashing right into B's leg. I believe she definitely got hurt, but I don't believe she got injured because she was definitely limping for a short while, but then as the match went on, her limp got better and better. So I believe she got hurt, and as you guys know, I do not like B anymore. Her portrayal of Queen's Quest, there really wasn't anything positive about her anymore to help me overlook her negative things. And you can say I got worked all you want, but like I don't even understand that criticism. Like, yeah, they made me not like her. Woo. I got worked. I don't even understand that. Yes, I don't like her anymore. What's your point? But she is a talented wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, she can be dangerous at times, but she's a talented wrestler, and she has a very, very high potential, like, ceiling. I think if she really works at it, she could maybe even be a legend one day. I don't know. You know what I mean? I just personally, I don't like her right now. But that doesn't mean I want her to get injured. I would never want any wrestler to get injured. Even Yoshiko. You know, like, no one deserves to get injured. So, I'm glad to know that it wasn't something serious, or at least it didn't seem like it was anything serious. I didn't see anything about her maybe being hurt or anything like that. So, moving on, I noticed something. As you could tell, I got really distracted during some of these matches. I saw Jamie's tattoos, which made me start wondering which wrestlers have tattoos. Because we know that Mayu has one on her, I believe, left arm. The one that she got when Io was about to leave. And then we know that Saki has one on her wrist, I believe. And then she also has one on her lower back. A.K.a. a tramp stamp. Those are the only ones I can think of, though, out of everyone in Stardom. I can't think of anyone else who actually has a tattoo. And it makes me wonder if there are tattoos out there that we just don't know about, because I didn't know anything about Saki's tramp stamp. I didn't know that was a thing. We all knew about Mayu's tattoo like almost immediately. But Saki's tramp stamp, I had no idea about. And for some reason in my mind, like I feel like I knew about Saki's wrist tattoo beforehand. I can't confirm or deny if I did. But her tramp stamp I did not know about. So it makes me wonder what other wrestlers are actually hiding tattoos. Because with the wrestler's outfit, it's the perfect type of outfit to really hide stuff. Because nothing on there will look out of place. You could just have a random thing on your arm. And you'd be like, yeah, that's just a wrestler thing. He has a thing on his arm, you know? But there could be a tattoo under that thing on the arm. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, and then also Momo's hair stopped being in a ponytail later on in the match, which reminded me of a time back when Murder Momo was very common in matches, where she would have her hair up in not like a ponytail, but like up. And then as the match would go on, her like ponytail-ish thing got looser and looser, and then eventually she would just pull it off, and it was like, yep, that's Murder Momo right there. When she pulled the thing off, her hair came down, Murder Momo's here. And it just reminded me of that time because it was a really fun time for Momo fans. That was around the time that I really started liking her. So Momo's consecutive chest kicks were very awesome. Solid power throughout the entire thing. There wasn't very much hesitation between each kick, and they were very precise. It just didn't seem like Momo was ever like a succession kicker. You know, like I could see Arisa being a succession kicker. I could even see Konami maybe being there, but I never really saw Momo being one. But here it kind of proved me wrong a little bit. She can do it. I just don't think it's something that she's probably going to be pulling out too much, because it probably takes a lot out of her. So the match ends with Momo pinning B, yes, with a peach sunrise in 12 minutes and 7 seconds. In the aftermatch promo, Momo says that some payback has been dealt and challenges for the Goddesses of Stardom championships. B then slaps B then slaps Momo, and Murder Momo is released. I think B forgot what Momo is like when she snaps. Momo is scary, guys. You remember when Hana spit in her face, and there was legit talks about whether this had some like legitimate feelings between the two, like angry feelings? Momo looked like she legit wanted to kill Hana, and Momo charged after B after the slap. There was a slight pause, and then like Murder Momo was taking over, and then she, boom, darted right towards B. It was very great. And then right after, Momo was very childish as they were walking away. She just started flipping them off in this like really childish way. It was super cute and adorable, you know. Like it's just funny how dynamic Momo is. We talk about this a lot in the, or not a lot, I should say, but we talked about this before in the Discord server, which there's a link on my Twitter account, and there might be one in the description. I don't know. I'll have to check. I don't think that's a thing. I'll put it there in this one though. How a lot of the Stardom characters have like dynamics to their character. Momo is this really badass, you know, murder machine in the ring. She can really go. She's very skilled. She's scary. But then outside the ring, she's a huge dork. If you guys don't know this, watch some of the streams that Stardom has put on their YouTube channel lately. It had Azumi, Momo, Utami, and KAMITANI, because spoilers for the next show. And Momo is a huge dork. So is Azumi, and so is Utami. Like seriously, those three are the biggest dorks in the world, and I love it because it's like there's different parts to them, you know, they're not one-dimensional. And I like how they allow the real selves to show while also being cool in the ring. So moving on to the second to last match, the semi-main event, we have MAYU IWATANI, ARISA HOSHIKI, and Starlight Kid versus Jungle Kyona, Konami, and Death Yamasan. Jungle is having a straight-up mental breakdown, and Konami is just as nonchalant about it as always. Seriously, Konami, what do your teammates have to do to make you worry? It is a shame that Jungle's title shot got postponed. I believe it got postponed and not canceled. I remember seeing something about it being postponed into another show. I just don't know which show. Jungle offers a handshake to Mayu, but then pulls it back into a salute when Mayu actually goes for it. The match then starts with Starlight Kid and Death, and it looks like Starlight messed up her corner maneuver, but saved it pretty well, and Death played along. Either that, or it was just awkward. But it really seemed like Starlight was trying to go for her corner move where she jumps up, twists her legs, and then like falls and then rolls them up. But I think she missed her cue or something like that, and then just decided to jump off, and then Death, you know, came up. It was very well saved, if that is the case. If that was planned, it felt kind of awkward. Starlight Kid is getting most of the abuse so far in this match. She's the pain fodder of this one, and she usually is. But lately it's been Mayu. Mayu's been kind of the pain fodder lately, and I think that has a lot to do with her and Saki's like storyline. I love how Tam is looking at Arisa disappointingly during the spot where Arisa is standing on top of Konami and kind of like stomping on her. It's just hilarious because she's not even in the match and she's still progressing storylines and relationships. She's looking at Arisa like a disappointed look. And then afterwards, when Arisa tags out, you can see that Arisa sits on the apron and is kind of smiling at someone off camera. and it pans away afterwards, showing Tam walking away and like Arisa getting up or something like that. But what you could tell happened is that Tam was kind of lecturing her, and I love that. I love that. I love their dynamic so much. Seriously, I'm so happy Arisa came back, because if Arisa never came back, I don't think Tam would be able to be this impressive. And it's not because Arisa is impressive. It's because I don't think Tam would have had anybody else to do things like this with if Arisa didn't come back. Because Mayu would be doing her own stuff, and the only other person in Stars would be Starlight Kid, you know, or Saki. And Starlight Kid is she's kind of the outsider of the group. Like, she's a part of the group, but she's an outsider. Like, she never really feels like she fits in with everyone else, even though she does. I don't know if I'm explaining that weird. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say there. And Saki, you know, is Saki. Before joining Odotai, she was a wet noodle. There was pink bean sprout. You know, there was nothing about her. Mayu's neck bumps never get any less crazy, and her selling is just unreal. Seriously, there's a part where she gets hit, and she just kind of like... She starts trying to get up, but she's frozen a little bit, and she's just frozen there, like in an almost get up position, and then she falls back down. It's really good. Jungle pins Starlight Kid with a hammer throw powerbomb in 8 minutes and 26 seconds. During the aftermatch promo, Jungle taunts Mayu and says she's going to beat Mayu with a new technique, which made me super happy because did not know she needed a new technique. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but her hammer throw powerbomb really isn't that weak. I mean, it's kind of protected in a way if you think about it. It doesn't get kicked out of very often. In my finishing moves one, hers is like one of the more protected finishers actually of the last year. So, who knows? Next match, we have the main event, which is the KAGETSU Gauntlet match. I'm not going to talk about every single one in here because I want you guys to actually watch it. It's an incredible match, like all of them. They're all very good, even the ones with the rookies. They're very emotional, some of them. It's like I cried, you know, like it's really, really good. So having watched this twice already, I got to say it's incredibly awesome and really sad. The order of the opponents of the gauntlet were starting to finish were IIDA, Rina, Hina, Ruka, ITSUKI Hoshino, Leo Onozaki, Saya KAMITANI, Starlight Kid, Death Yamasan, Jungle Kiona, Hana Kimura, Konami, Julia, Shuri, Azumi, UTAMI HAYASHISHITA, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, Natsuko Tora, Jamie Hayter, B. Priestley, Tam Nakano, Hiroyo Matsumoto, Arisa Hoshiki, and then Mayu Iwatani. 25 opponents. 25. I believe that is the largest amount of opponents for a gauntlet so far in Stardom. She had 5 wins, 17 time limit draws, and 3 losses. 4 of her wins are from the rookies, and as she said at the end, the reason she beat them all with her jumping armbar is that she plans on passing that move over to Hanan for her to use, which, like, that made me cry. Like, in a good way. That's so sweet. Like, KAGETSU is just so awesome. Her last match, I believe, was not, or not last match. Her last win, I believe, was not planned, as they made it seem like Hiroyo being in the gauntlet was a surprise to KAGETSU. Like, if it wasn't a surprise, they did a really good job of acting like it was a surprise because everything about it seemed very genuine. As you may know, who gets the wins during these gauntlets usually go on to do good things. It's usually someone they want to put a spotlight on. I believe in Yoko Bito's, the only person to pin her was Momo. And then in Kairi's, I believe the only person to pin her, I think, was Hazuki. I don't think anybody pinned Io during hers because, you know, Io. I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I believe she came out undefeated. A lot of ties, though, I think. The 3 winners were Konami, Momo, and B, which was very surprising that they had 3. I was not expecting 3 people to get wins out of this, but it really goes into KAGETSU. I mean, KAGETSU is all about putting over and helping the next generation. And she did that here. She obviously sees a lot of good things in Konami and in Momo and in B. The ending was very heartwarming, and it makes you cry. Like, seriously, I cried. The respect and love everyone has for Kagetsu is just incredibly sweet. Alright guys, so something a little different here. For those of you who don't know, I actually have a Patreon account. It's not something I like to talk about in my videos because I don't want to come across as like asking for money or anything. I just kind of put it in the description, you know, and I kind of just have it on my Twitter account, and you know, if anybody wanted to, they could. And the only reason why I'm mentioning it now, it's not because I'm going to start promoting it or anything. It's just because I actually have a patron now, and I now have to do the patron stuff. And it's not something that, like, I'm not going to be hiding content from you guys, at least not for now. I only have 2 tiers, a $1 and a $3. A $1 is just for anybody, you know, like, hey, you know, just give you $1, you know. But then the $3 one is getting your name mentioned and shown at the end of videos. Now, the first month that you pledge, you'll get a name shout out, like I'll actually say the name out loud. But then every video after that first one, I'll just have it listed at the end. So your name will always be in one of my videos. It just won't be said except for that first time. So this time I just want to say thank you to Smack It Down Podcast. I don't know if you want me to say your other like online name. We never really talked about that. But if you do, let me know and I'll put it in the description. But yeah, Smack It Down Podcast. He's a patron. He's donating pledging $3 a month, which is amazing. You know, when I created this Patreon, I did not expect anybody to do it. That's why I never talk about it. But it's mind-blowing that anybody would think I am worthy of any money. So thank you, Smack It Down Podcast. Awesome. Love having you a part of the Discord also. Also, I'd like to plug the Discord because that doesn't make me money or anything, so I don't feel bad about plugging that. It's just a Discord for us to talk about wrestling, Joshi. There's different channels for different promotions and whatnot. You're able to say whatever you want to say, you know. I mean, as long as you're not being superly over offensive, but basically, it's not the subreddit, you know. If you have differing opinions, it's fine. We can all be adults. We can all discuss it. There are many people in here that, you know, I differ from many times. I just started adding some stuff like emojis and different factions on there where your name will be color coordinated when you choose one of the teams. You have to tell me which teams and I'll put you in the team. It's all the factions of Stardom. Yeah, I'm so bad at promoting stuff. All right, well, thank you guys, and thank you, Smack It Down Podcast. I think is it podcast? Yeah, Smack It Down Podcast. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I sound like I appreciate it, but I really do. I'm just very uncomfortable with things when it comes to interpersonal things like that. But I really do appreciate it. I hope I sound like I appreciate it because I really do. All right, well, thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. And one more time, Smack It Down Podcast. All right, guys. Bye.